One of the first boat tests we ran on Planet Sail was the Oyster 565. 3 years down the line, and this model has proved to be a huge success. No pressure then for a bigger sister ship, the 595, that arrived on the scene towards the end of last year. Understandably, there was a huge amount of interest in this new blue water 60-footer. So Planet Sail was not only delighted to be the first to get aboard, but we were very excited about having 3 solid days to get to grips with her. This meant we could not only settle in to find out what makes this new 60-footer tick, but take some deep dives to explore the detail above and below decks. The link to our 3-day test report is above and also on the YouTube description, but you'll also find links to additional video reports on the accommodation, deck layout and systems within the main feature. Alternatively, head to the Boats Kit and Comments playlist at Planet Sail and you'll find all 4 videos there. In building their new Imka 60 Malama, the 11th Hour Racing team learned a huge amount before the boat had even been launched, especially when it came to calculating the total carbon footprint. Now they've published their findings in a report that's freely available online. Within it, they identified the potential to cut the carbon footprint of the build by almost 1/3 by ensuring that the boatyard and key suppliers were on a 100% renewable electricity tariff. They also point out how it can take 18 months of testing and trialling to implement new build processes and materials. They outline how sustainability needs to be part of the design brief and how improved recycling can be achieved while also saving money through better waste management. Plugs and moulds came under the spotlight too, with big gains possible by using flax and recycled carbon for non-structural parts. The overall message in the report is clear. It's time to get serious about sustainability. Running any event in 2021 was a major undertaking, but the inaugural Aegean 600 went ahead last July and proved to be a resounding success. So much so that the Hellenic Offshore Racing Club will run the event again this year. The 600-mile course proved as popular for the tactical challenges as it did for the scenery. The wide variety of leg lengths, wind angles and wind speeds presented plenty for the crews to plan for and cope with on a racecourse that threads its way around an area steeped in history. Last year's record pace was set at just under 72 hours by Carlo Alessandro Puri Negri's Far 70 Atalanta 2, skippered by Francesco De Angelis. The race is open to fully crewed and double-handed teams in both monohulls and multi-hulls and starts on the 10th of July. What does a superyacht have in common with a New York City bus? Nothing is the answer, until that is you get under the hood, where both have the same BAE Systems diesel-electric hybrid power propulsion units. Southern Wind 96 No. 4 will be the first Southern Wind yacht with a hybrid system. But it's a choice that's starting to prove popular. Their 108-footer, which is due for delivery in early summer 2023, also has this configuration, and the company expects to produce up to 2 hybrid yachts a year going forwards. Among the list of advantages, Southern Wind believe there are 4 key benefits: the ability to regenerate power through the propeller and keep batteries charged on passage, then being able to operate silently thanks to the large battery capacity. Having 2 generators rather than 1 helps with the stringent emissions regulations. And 4, the longevity of hybrid systems. The BAE system is rated for double the number of hours than that of a conventional single generator. Jboats are perhaps less well known for their cruisers than their performance boats, but their J45 is a reminder that boat speed isn't everything when it comes to cruising at pace. Although she shares the family DNA, under her skin she's subtly different. A moderate beam, a relatively deep canoe body, a sweeping shear line and a low freeboard sets her apart from many of her performance cruiser contemporaries. So too does her single rudder, 7-foot keel fin and her 4.2-ton bulb. She's a classic performance cruiser designed to deliver consistently well, whatever the conditions, upwind or down. Aggressive modern hull forms may produce peaks of power at certain angles and wind speeds, but the 45 has been designed to be as comfortable when she's pressed as she is capable of sailing deep angles with ease. Add load carrying, a high righting moment and many more characteristics into the mix, and Jboats' formula for comfortable performance cruising is easy to see. Chris Nicholson can't get enough of offshore sailing. He's competed in 6 Volvo ocean races and now is about to notch up another one with a newly named ocean race. With so many miles under his belt, he knows a thing or two about what makes good offshore clothing and knows the hard facts. Get your clothing wrong and you can end up with rashes, which can then become infections. Not a good look offshore and not good for performance. He believes breathability isn't just about comfort but health, and so do clothing manufacturer Zhik. After a comprehensive R&D programme with the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology and 50,000 miles of testing, Zhik have launched OFS 800, a new range of clothing that they believe will take breathability onto a new level. From key innovations such as headlock hood design to flexible anti-corrosion zips and many more, Zhik believe that they've engineered some big steps forward. Music to Nicholson's ears. Handling the biggest masts in the world is a complex process that extends well beyond stepping and commissioning. It's an area that Rondal know well. One of Rondal's projects was commissioning the rig of the 1,100-ton Sea Eagle 2. It's clearly a complex operation that requires a specialist team, but it's also a process that happens more regularly than you might think. Today, it's often a requirement to have a superyacht mast lifted, inspected and serviced every 5 years. Unstepping a superyacht mast involves plenty of detailed planning. Getting the mast out of the boat is a huge exercise in itself. But when removing just one piece of rigging requires at least 4 people on a mast that could typically have 14 items, the complex logistics are easy to see. And that's before the detailed inspection and servicing starts. Handling big spars requires a big operation.